Welcome to the Laurent Collective podcast, where we go deeper than just surface talk.
Each week, we'll explore everything from family, business, creativity, culture, and faith.
To make sure not to miss an episode, be sure to subscribe and hop on to Instagram at Laurent Collective to chat with us about this episode.
Hello.
Hello. That was very cautious. Hello.
Oh, well, sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Is that better?
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast. Today we are going to talk about our break from social media, which if you look back, I'm trying to remember what podcast episode it was, several podcasts back from here, episodes. Yeah. I'm sorry that I don't know the exact one. You'll see us talking about why we took the break and our reasoning behind that. But we are going to talk about after our social media break. We took 1 month off of social media for both our business and personally. That meant Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I mean, that covers them all, the ones we use, I guess. Are there others?
Yeah.
I think
I guess depending on if you count
but
YouTube or, I think Zane's on Discord.
Well, whatever. That's fine. But we're just talking about us.
Yeah, those are the three main ones that we're on.
So those were the ones that
you don't count Pinterest. So.
No, I don't count Pinterest, but I'm not really on that except for just for our business stuff. Yeah. So anyway, so we took a month break. But yeah, so we're going to chat about what our thoughts are both personally and did it affect our business? Because I know that's probably what a lot of you are wondering. So we're going to chat about that. Before we chat about that, though, because we took a month-long social media break and we weren't spending time on that, we launched a whole brand new website. That is live this week. And it is called LaurentCollectiveLearning.com. And basically, this is a place that you can go for any resources we talk about on this podcast. If you're looking for past podcast episodes, they're on there. If you are looking for a download we've mentioned, whether that's the summer schedule ideas for your family, whether it is how to make connections with your kids, or it could be stuff on the business side of things of how to get out of being overwhelmed in your business, the business tools we use, that kind of stuff. It is all in one place now. Before, I feel like we were sending you here and there and everywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of our new hub. For
exactly.
things. So it's just awesome. Maya did such an amazing job. She worked really hard on it.
Stuff on it too.
It looks so good, and I'm excited for you guys to see it. It's so cool.
But again, it just shows you one of our learnings was if you really focus in on something. I know we've talked about this before, but it's something we've been wanting to do for a long time. It's kind of been lingering and kind of been working on it here and there. And I was like, wait a minute, let's just do this and let's focus on this one thing and let's get it done. Yeah. And it is up. So we'd love to hear you guys' feedback. Or if you want any of those free downloads, there's a lot of free stuff on there. And there will be lots more coming.
Yeah. And too, really quick too, I launched my own website.
Oh, yes, I forgot. You did too. We launched 2 websites.
Yeah, we launched 2 websites. I just really quick, I launched an illustration website that I've been working on for a bit.
What is it?
It's
the address?
Patrick R. Laurent all together. So it's patrickrlaurent.com. So, and that's got all my drawings and illustrations and stuff that I've been working on towards doing more book illustrations. So super excited about that as well. And it's just fun. It's so cool that we were able to do that. We literally put those 2 websites together and launched them, and So
should we talk about personal or business first? What do you feel like you want to talk about first?
I think we should do business.
Okay, because that's probably what most people are curious about. Yeah.
I definitely think that then we could talk about how maybe personally it made us feel and that kind of thing.
So just to give you, and I think we said this in the previous podcast about us taking a break, but what I did before for our business for social media was it usually at least posted 4 to 5 times a week on our Instagram and on our Facebook page. Also, did stories, interacted with people, all that stuff. Now, I will say I wasn't coming up with a new post every single day. I did spend usually 1 day a month doing all of our posts, scheduling them, writing them, all that kind of stuff. But still, that's 1 day of work a month that I spent doing that.
But then as well as there's time that you go on on a daily or weekly basis where you're commenting and interacting and trying to
Exactly.
build that community.
Or
and
even
stuff,
when I
so.
noticed, even when I would go on to, I didn't automate the scheduled posts. I just scheduled them and it would send me, ping me and tell me I needed to post. So I would do that. And I even realized, even with just that, I was going on and getting sucked into whatever else, I wasn't just going on to post and maybe interact a little bit. I was going on and getting sucked into the abyss that is Instagram and
The
Facebook
scrolling.
and all that stuff. So that is what we did before. So then a month off means, we literally did not go on at all. We had a 1 minute time limit, I think, set. I think, I will say I went on our daughter's birthday to post a photo of her to say happy birthday, and I got off right away. So we set app limits on our phones because that's basically where we go on to things and that kind of stuff. And so when I would go to click on Instagram or Facebook, it would just have it like blacked out. Like it was, you couldn't even open it. It said limit reached.
And even during this time too, we didn't schedule a bunch of posts in May, and then have
We
them
posted
going
nothing
while
in
we
the
were
month of
not doing
June.
it. So we didn't post anything. Like there was nothing coming from
Exactly.
our feed
Yeah.
during that month. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we did that. I did think, if we're going to take a break, maybe I'll just automate, the schedules, but that wouldn't actually shown us what we wanted to see. We wanted to see if we were to post nothing for a month straight, what would it do to our account? What would it do to our website? That kind of thing. Here to say, it did nothing.
It didn't change anything.
We gained
Yeah.
a couple more followers than we had in May, actually,
Yeah,
which I
which is
do not
funny.
understand. We came back to a lot of direct messages, which I've gone through now, and that kind of thing. There wasn't anything pressing. It was mostly a lot of our direct messages are people saying, hey, I received this print and I got it from you, and telling us really cool stories about it. We had a lot of that. I guess there was one person that did say, I can't find this print on your website, and her and I are already talking and it's fine. And then there was a lot of stupid DMs that you get of like, do you want to be our brand model? Like, the spam
The
junk.
promoter stuff.
Yeah, that I'm like, have you even looked at our Instagram?
Yeah, exactly.
So there was some of that stuff in our DMs for Instagram, but other than that, like we actually gained some followers, which I don't understand when we haven't been on it for a month, but okay. And then we also, while we were not posting anything, other people posted our stuff. So there's a couple companies that we do card designs for. They posted stuff for a reel we had done. And directed people to a book for the Fair Play book of like sharing household tasks, had reposted something. So again, that all happened while we were gone, and that could be why we gained more followers. But again, all that was functioning and happening
Without
while
us
we were
doing
gone.
anything. Yeah.
So then for our website traffic, I was tracking this weekly because I was just curious. And the first 2 weeks that we were off, we had either the same, 1 week it was the exact same amount of traffic from Instagram and Facebook. The second week it was more, which again, I don't understand. We weren't on there. And then the last 2 weeks of the month were less. But it made absolutely zero difference in the total amount of people that came to our website, because the people that are coming from Instagram and Facebook is so small that it doesn't really affect anything on our website. So it did not affect our sales. It did not actually affect our overall numbers. Our overall numbers were almost exactly where they normally are for the month of June, a bit higher than last year, actually. And then same with purchasing and stuff like that. It did not affect how many newsletters were open that we sent out. We still did that. It didn't. So basically what we're saying.
Well, I think the biggest
didn't
thing
affect
is
anything.
It didn't affect our, the main thing that we're hoping is that we're making some income towards, that these social media platforms are driving traffic to our website for people to buy things. And
Yes.
it didn't change that.
Exactly. I went ahead and checked, we don't have anything on our social media linked to our Etsy store and stuff like that. But even from those, randomly stuff comes from Tumblr, which I didn't even know people used anymore.
I think I have a random account on there somewhere. So maybe that's.
I don't know if it's from you, but all the stuff from Etsy was from two. It was only two people, but still, I was like,
But
Tumblr.
Still, that's random.
Very random. And then Pinterest. None of them came from the other places, and that kind of stuff. So again, even for an Etsy store and that kind of thing. So I think as this week, we got back into things and looked at things, my takeaway number one was, okay, so it's for us personally, in our business, it's not bringing us income, like Pat just said. And the things that you do in your business, you want to obviously, build community, do those kind of things because that is important. But ultimately, in the end, you're in business, and that means you have to have some kind of form of income. And so, maybe social media is driving traffic to things. And so because of that, then eventually it turns into income. That has not really ever been the point of social media for it hasn't happened like that. It did at one time, but since things have changed and,
I think when it first kind of started, that's how things happen and changed.
Yeah.
But like as our business has progressed and matured, that's not necessarily how we drive traffic to our website.
And I think even if we were a new business in this time too, it'd be really hard to do that anymore anyways.
Oh yeah, it's so saturated.
The algorithms are so hard to figure out. Now it's video and not images, and
there's just tons of noise.
It's a lot of stuff to keep up with, and it's really hard to break through that. And we have taken from some of the top people that are killing it on, if you consider killing it, doing really well, it seems, on Instagram and stuff like that. And we've tried all those things, and some things have helped a little bit, but in the end, it didn't really provide income. And it had a lot of our time spent on those platforms.
I think that is the thing that I think was a great takeaway for our business is the fact of, okay, seeing how much time we're spending, how much time am I spending on creating posts and creating the images for the post, and you then writing and setting it all up and getting it all together, like looking at all that and how much time we're spending on that versus could we be using that time to could I be creating new cards? Could I be doing this? Could I be doing, I don't know. There's so many other things that I could be creating instead of doing something for social media, and you could be writing blogs and different things or whatever, and reaching out to other vendors or whatever that could be driving more traffic or potentially more income into our business in a different way that makes more sense than us focusing so much time on social media.
Because again, social media, Instagram and Facebook do not come up on SEO. It may come up if we put Laurent Collective, but most people, that's not normally what drives people to our website. Sometimes, but the majority of people are putting in like a phrase that they're looking for in a print or a gift or something like that. That's the SEO stuff they're searching for. And that does not come up from your social media stuff, does not come up. It is your website. It is YouTube. It's Pinterest. It's those kinds of things. And so again, if we're trying to drive traffic to our website, what does that look like? And so moving forward, what we've decided for now, we're going to try it out and we're going to see what happens, is again, I went from doing 4 to 5 times a week, mostly doing stories a fair amount of time. It was a lot. I was still spending several hours a week on it. And then that one day a month, at least 6 to 8 hours, like planning out the whole week, a whole month, and sometimes a month and a half, all that stuff. All that said and done, we're only going to post 1 to 2 times a week and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I worked on it yesterday and it took me 2 hours, if even that long. And more of it was because I was having issues with the scheduling app that we have. So it probably could have just been 1 hour for me. And, I'll still go on there daily to check our DMs and stuff like that from people. But I think, I think it makes me a little sad because what Instagram used to be for us is it used to be a place where there was a community of people who, it could be other artists, it could be people who have bought our artwork in the past, or started following us for something, that kind of thing. It used to be a place where we could really keep in touch with those people. You felt like we have met some of those people in person before, and that's been really cool. You just developed a community with that. I don't even see those people come up on our feed anymore, which is utterly frustrating. And we keep following less and less people, and they're still not coming up. Even if I go and interact with them, it doesn't come up, and it doesn't make sense to me. I know I think you can add like favorites and stuff like that, but it still doesn't work. Both personal and business, I'm not seeing the people I want to see.
Yeah.
I'm now, like on my personal one, now it's just how my feed is almost all recommendations. I don't want to see those people. I don't know them. I'm not following them for a reason.
You're not following enough.
Yeah.
So.
I guess they don't think my 300 people I follow, which is probably still too much, is enough.
Yeah.
So, that's a little bit hard to let go of. And I think there are some people that are still able to do that on Instagram, but for whatever reason in our business, that feels like that's gone away a little bit. It's still there. Like I said, we have people in our DMs and chatting and stuff like that, that we, still are building relationships with. But unfortunately, it has not been as easy. It takes, I should say, you can probably still do it, but it takes a lot of your time.
Yeah.
And when you have a business, your time is of the most importance. And probably back when we were younger, I would have been like, that's fine. I can spend all this time doing this thing. But, with having kids and being parents and just, we want, a different kind of lifestyle and stuff, and not be working 24/7. And that means what we choose to spend our time on needs to be the things that are moving things forward and pointing in the direction of not only income, but impact as well. And I don't feel like our impact or income is affected by social media right now.
Yeah. And I think too, I think the other point too is wanting to, because we have a family, because we have kids that are watching us, like I want to show them healthy rhythms with things, right? And I think I would say, at least me personally, I probably got into a really unhealthy rhythm with social media and what that did as far as like our business. I remember, when we were kind of in the thick of it with like Instagram and things like that, if I didn't post on every day, or I just felt like I was like losing in a big way, that like things were going to go away, like I wasn't going to have my business anymore, and like all that kind of stuff. And I think looking at just that last month and going, oh, like this really, it's a great tool. It's a great thing to have. But it's not essential, at least for us right now. Personally, from looking at our stats and the things that we're seeing in our analytics and all that stuff, it doesn't seem like it's driving, people to us in a way that we're hoping for our business.
Yeah, again, the income and impact.
Yeah,
and I do want to say, we've done the flip side of this. Now, while we took a social media break for a month, I have done the flip side of it, where probably, I don't know, it was like 6 months ago, I said, oh, great, like I'm going to follow what these people are saying and do this amount of time. I'm going to interact with this many people. I'm going to send this many direct messages, did all that stuff. And we dropped in followers. I did that for a month and a half, I think.
It's funny that we stopped and we gained followers.
Exactly. So again, it's not about a numbers game. It is not about, I have this many followers and isn't that great and stuff like that. It's not about that. It's about, again, who are you? How are you helping people, and where can you have the biggest impact with that? And then how can those things, if you're running a business, how can those things help you as far as income too? And so for us, it is things like building the website we did with Laurent Collective Learning, and realizing like having a hub place where people can go and get help in all different areas, have a bunch of free stuff on there for them, that kind of stuff. Sure, we'll point them to that on social media, but yeah. So I think our overall take is, you have to make your own decisions. We'd highly recommend for your businesses you testing it out as well, because your business could be different. Your traffic could be coming a lot more from social media than ours does. Again, a lot of ours does from Pinterest, so that is something we pay attention to and things like that. So,
I think it's just more like if you're feeling overwhelmed and like, it feels like you're treading water a little bit with your social media stuff, like maybe do take a break from it and see what happens. And kind of assess it from there and see what it does for your business. Because I think, again, this was something that we just wanted to try and give it a go and see, again, what we thought. And a lot of it kind of affirmed some of the things that we were thinking. So I think it was helpful. So.
Yeah, and I would say as well with it is give it a try, see what happens, and then see also how you feel about your business. I would say that was one thing I noticed as well. Instead of being caught up, because we do follow a lot of other artists and people do similar things as we do. And I would constantly, those people came up sometimes and see what they're doing or this success they were having, and would go into the spiral of comparing our business to theirs. And instead, what we were able to do was like really focus on things we've been wanting to do in our business in a while and not compare ourselves. So that is another thing you may notice as well. So that's our take on business stuff. Personally, what did we think about it personally of staying off of it?
Personally, I just felt like I had so much more headspace for other things. It just felt like, we launched more websites. I think I like personally probably was drawing more than I've ever drawn before in a really long time. Like just lots of, just have not, I guess that little bit at the very end that you said business wise, but it just kept me away from the comparison game. And kind of making me feel a little bit more like that imposter syndrome kind of stuff. And just really like, I just did the things that I enjoyed doing. And there was no agenda. I didn't have to have an agenda with it. I didn't feel like I was going to have to post something tomorrow.
You personally feel like that, or are we still talking about business?
Yeah, no, like personally, just
Okay.
like all of that. I
You
mean,
don't ever post anything really personally.
well, no, now that I have like a personal, like
You might-
illustration
okay,
side of
so I
things.
see that as business.
See, I don't. So, because it's more of a playground for me, if that
Okay.
makes any sense.
So what Pat's trying to say, if any of you are just confused because he's never talked about it before, is he has an illustration Instagram that he's doing as well,
Yeah.
that he's just posting on there with other and interacts with other artists. And
It's more
stuff
of like
that
a
on
place for
there.
me to just to have fun and post things.
And so
that
I
wanna post.
personally see that as business because it's trying to build up his illustration, but he sees it as personal. So whatever.
I mean, it's more of a, again, like I said, it's more of like a playground. It's more of like a, I can do anything on that. If I want to post a picture of my kids on there, I will. Like that kind of thing. Like it's not, I don't, yeah. But I think too, like personally, it just kept me away from, kind of seeing what others are doing and feeling like I have to be doing what they're doing. I think also, one thing that was hard for me is I think I keep up with people more on probably Facebook and stuff, like family and friends and things like that on Facebook. And to be away from that from a month was kind of weird. But at the same time, I think it forced me to like actually reach out to those people, which was kind of good, I think. And just not assume that, well, because I saw their picture and what they had to say about their last weekend or whatever, now I know what they're up to. It allowed me to be more intentional about reaching out and making connections with people. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was probably my number one take on personally being away from social media for a month. Was there's just a lot of friends we do keep in touch with them in the States and stuff, but the means that we have kept in touch with them is like going back and forth on, posts and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
seeing pictures of their kids. And it's just not as easy to send a text and send pictures back and forth and remember to do that. And so that was something I missed, of just like, another incident would be our niece in the States turned 3. And she, if my brother's listening, he's just not very good at sending photos.
Yeah.
And so I missed until we got back on. The first thing I did was go and look and see the photos they posted of her and stuff like that. And so, that is it's easier to do that way, and that kind of thing. But I also know that I go on there for those reasons, to see some of, like, what is this thing? Our friends' kids have all finished school. What do they look like before they started school and after? And often too, with some of those things, I'll see people's pictures and then I will text them, but it's also about seeing those things. And so I missed that part. What I did not miss was, even though I go on with that intention, I still get sucked into other things, and that kind of stuff. I know something that I realized, and this is, and this may be where you live, depending where you live too. There is so much to do 24/7 all the time in London. And I often do find really cool things for us to do as a family in London, because I have seen it on social media. And I love that. However, there is another side of it too, that I see something and realize we can't go to it because we have stuff going on. And I get this like, oh, we're going to miss it kind of thing. We can't do it all.
Yeah.
No way.
There's not enough time.
We can ever do that. Or it's an experience that's just too expensive for our budget right now and things like that. And so that was taken away, which was good. We still did plenty. It was Jubilee weekend here, things like that, that we had in June and all of that. But I did realize it was like double edge of like, oh, I feel like I'm missing out because I don't know what's going on in London, at the same time of, oh, but that's actually okay because I'm not feeling pulled that like we should be doing this. Why aren't we doing this? We're just having a quiet weekend at home. Like that's okay. So that was mine a little bit. So approaching it moving forward, I think what we both have decided is we have a 30-minute time limit. And again, we're using iPhone, so there's a way you do that with that, but I think probably every phone has that now. I have noticed, because all of our stuff is connected, that my computer tells me when I've gone over the app limit too. I don't know if you've noticed that with yours.
I haven't noticed that.
Because I use the same Apple ID or whatever it's called, and so it has told me I have 5 minutes left on whatever, Facebook or something like that.
I haven't had that come up on my computer.
So I have ignored it a couple times because, like, you can't ignore the limit. I've only, since we've been back on, ignored it a couple times because there has been something like I wanted to ask somebody in direct message or something like that. I don't have their phone number, whatever it may be. So I think our idea is like 30 minutes a day, setting that to app limit, both for Instagram and Facebook. So, whatever time is on that. And I think because we had that month away, what I'm noticing is it's not my go-to to just pick up my phone and go on to one of those.
I was going to say that. Like, I think because that was probably the normal thing that we would do, is just pick up your phone if you're bored, or like you have a couple of minutes that you're just kind of just chilling or whatever, and you just jump on it. I found other things to take my time. One of those things was learning a new language. And like, I'm in that routine now. Like, every day I'm like doing more things with learning that language and like all that kind of stuff, rather than going to a social media app or whatever. Like, there's just more things that I think it filled my time with that I really enjoyed, that I don't want to lose that. And so I think that was one of those things as well.
So I don't think we're re-entering this space saying we're completely done with it. I would say for a business, we're re-entering and saying we're not done, but we're going to do the bare minimum, maybe.
Well, I think we still want to participate, but it's not the focus.
Yeah. And I would say personally, there was a time that I was probably posting not every day of the week, but a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when we first moved to London. I think part of that was people wanted to know how things were going, and that was the easiest way to do that. I don't really feel that pressure anymore, and that kind of thing. And so, I think personally, I don't know how many times I'll post, just whenever I feel like I should, I guess, or should. Well, that's not the right word. Whenever I feel like I want to.
Yeah, and I think too. I think you've had other ideas of how to engage with it. Like, one of the things that you're thinking about right now is like being present in the things that we're doing as a family over the month, and maybe taking short little video clips. And then maybe at the end of the month, you make it like one of our friends does that really, really well. They do like a monthly vlog. They do like a monthly vlog, and it's great. And it's like, well, instead of feeling like I have to post on a daily basis, like, should I do this?
Well, I don't even know if I'm going to use those to post. That might just be for our family.
Well, no, I know. But I'm just saying, like, in general, like, instead of feeling, feeling the kind of I don't know, like, draw to have to do that.
Yeah, I don't feel that draw though. I don't feel the draw that I have to post anything. I just post when I feel like, oh yeah, I want to share this or that kind of thing. And yeah, I don't personally, I did at one time for sure, but I don't feel that anymore, of that draw of like, oh, I have to post this. Or I do take a lot of pictures, but I mean, anyone who knows me knows I have always done that. Yeah, that like pre-social media. And so Pat could probably tell you, I mean, on my camera roll, we have some pretty amazing sunset views from our house. And the amount of times I walk out onto the balcony, he's like, you're seriously taking another photo? I could make a whole collage of the sunset photos, probably.
I'm not going to say it, but it reminds me of someone.
My mom used to do that in one of our houses.
Take photos of the moon every time it's outside.
But so I still take a lot of photos because I like having photos for our family and things like that. But I don't take them with the intention of like, oh, I'm doing this because I have to post this.
Right.
You know, sometimes I'm like, we went to this cool exhibit pre-June. I don't remember when it was, April or May, and we posted about it, and a ton of people were like, oh my gosh, I've driven by that a ton of times, or I've walked by it. I didn't know if it was worth it. Now I know it's worth. Like, if I know I'm helping people like see some things like that, then I'll be willing to post. But again, I think I see how much I was sucked into it, just scrolling, comparing, seeing, oh, look at those people and how much they're I follow a lot of travel people. I follow a lot of food people. I did miss seeing the recipes, although our groceries probably went down.
Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't like, oh, let's make that tonight. Yeah. But it didn't, I think what we overall would say, didn't affect our business. And personally, it probably actually made things better. except for the fact that we didn't get to see some photos of friends and family.
Yeah.
But again, popping on every once in a while can enable that to happen in the future. But we'd highly recommend it. I say a week is not going to give you the feeling. A month is going to give you the feeling because it's going to break some of your habits that if you choose to re-enter, I think you'll notice a difference. I think if we had only done it for a week or even 2 weeks.
Well, I think a week only really gives you, it's like, that's just nothing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's nothing. But the month really, broke cycles, broke some rhythms up that now going back into it, we can say, oh yeah, we were not doing that very well, or we could do this better, or we don't really need that. So
yeah, exactly. So that's our take on our social media break. Catch us on there when you can.
Yeah.
We won't be on there as much, but that's okay. We'll still be checking in with people.
Yeah, always feel free to send us messages and all that kind of stuff. We're checking that kind of stuff.
And do go check out Lorent Collective Learning, because we think there's some stuff on there that will be helpful for you guys, whether it is for families or it's business or just personally on like how to stay on your path and stuff like that. We highly recommend heading over there, and we love to hear your feedback on it too, or things that you want us to put on there as well. But thanks for spending time with us. We hope this has been insightful of thinking about social media for yourself, and we will talk to you soon.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of the Lorent Collective podcast. If you enjoyed today's podcast, be sure to subscribe and leave a review, which helps others find our podcast. Continue the conversation with us over on Instagram at Lorent Collective.
We look forward to going deeper than just surface talk with you again next week.